Unless you're living under a rock, you've probably seen or heard of the 50-part series that Reesa Teesa did on her TikTok page about her alleged pathologically lying, cheating ex-husband who she met, married, and divorced within 6 months, or about that time. So the story is crazy, and if you haven't watched it, I would say just try and find some type of synopsis. But my 10-second version of the story is that she married a man who lied about literally everything. I saw this comment on TikTok where someone said, if this man told me what my name was, like as in me, I wouldn't believe him. So the story, while very entertaining, is also trying to teach us a lesson. And so the reason why she decided to even share her story online is because she wanted to be able to reach someone that might be feeling like maybe they have some red flags in their relationship, and red flags similar to hers where she kind of knew something was off, but she just couldn't figure out what it was. Honestly, I was like, oh, he's gonna be a scammer, he's gonna steal all her money. And then what happened was so much weirder that I was like, okay, this is all crazy. One thing that I want to talk about are the financial lessons or just key takeaways you can learn from the Reisa Teesa story. Hi everyone, this is Camilla, the Focused Spender, where I teach you how to get out of debt, save more money, and invest so that you can build wealth and leave a lasting legacy. Now, like I said, there's 3 financial lessons or takeaways that you can learn from the Reisa Teesa story. These could also be thought of as questions or to-do items when you are in a relationship. So the first thing that I want to talk about is trusting but verifying. So it's really hard when you're in a relationship with someone to just be distrustful. You don't want to always have guards up, you don't want to always have your wall up, but you need to verify the information that you've been given, especially when you are becoming a lot more serious, when marriage is a possibility, when there might be children coming into play. Like, you need to be able to verify. And what I mean by that is, if someone is telling you, oh, I make this amount of money, I have this amount of money in the bank, not only do you want to just see a paper with that number corroborated or a screenshot, you want to be able to log into the bank with the person just to see what's happening. You want them to do the same thing for you. You have to be on the same page, and you have to be willing to do that. Like, if my husband all of a sudden was like, oh no, you can't ever log into my bank account. And trust me, I do not log into this man's bank account on a regular basis. And when I do, he's literally right there with me and we're just trying to figure things out. But if he was just like adamant that I could never log into his and see his statement, and we're married, or even before we got married, I would be questioning, like, what are you lying about, and what are you holding from me? So you want to be able to trust the person, like, okay, I'm not going to just off the bat believe that you're lying, but I do need you to verify. And I have to be willing to do that same type of verification for you. Because once you get married and things start getting muddy, where you might buy a house together, you might buy a car together, you might do your taxes together, their financial life plays a large part in your finances as well. And so you just need to know what is actually happening, what is the truth. I'm never going to tell someone like, oh, if a man doesn't make this amount of money, you can't be with him. If he doesn't have this and that financially, you can't be with him. But I am going to say, it's like, you need to know what you're walking into so that you guys can work together. So the second financial lesson that we can learn from Reisa Teesa's story is never to be reliant on someone else's salary or someone else's money to fund your life. Like, you should be able to be at a point, whether you're a man or a woman, that your expenses are low enough that if something happens to that other person's salary, you guys will be okay. Not even thinking about the person cheating on you, the person leaving you, and now what are you going to do because this person is paying all your bills? But like, what if the person loses their job? What if the person just gets really sick and is unable to work? So one of the things that Reisa said in one of the parts was that she thinks she married him, or she thinks she finally went along with the wedding, even though the red flags were there and she knew something was off, was that she was scared. Like, she was relying on him to pay all the household bills, and then she bought a car. So then she's paying this car, and like, her expenses were getting to the point where it was just going to be a little bit harder for her to do it all on her own. She was doing it on her own before she met him, but then he moved in and he starts paying for things, and then expenses just change a little bit. So you don't ever want to be solely reliant on someone else's salary. So I'm in a number of Facebook groups, and I see a lot of times where women, especially women who are stay-at-home moms, women who maybe they graduated college and they didn't get a job right away, but they got married, they stayed home, they had children, and the marriage went south. And now they're in a situation where the man may have left them with the kids and they have to figure something out. They don't have the job skills, they don't have the experience, and they're in a financial hardship because they've just been relying on someone else's paycheck their entire lives, or not their entire lives, but their entire marriage with that person. And now that they're gone, they don't know what to do. Or what I also see are women who are just scared to leave. Like they might be in a emotionally, physically, whatever abusive relationship, but they don't have the means to take care of themselves and they're scared to leave. And so I don't want anyone to ever feel like I am stuck in this position because I don't have the financial resources to do it on my own. So even if you are in a happy, healthy marriage, you want to figure out a way that you're structuring your finances so that if something happens to one person's salary, it can be covered by the other person. Or you're saving enough money so that you have those emergencies. Or like if you are that stay-at-home mom, hopefully you are given enough money that you can put it away in case of an emergency. And so you're not always so reliant on someone else's salary or someone else's money. And the last financial lesson, or I should say question to ask when you are in a relationship, is how you are going to merge and mix your bank accounts or your finances. So one of the things that Reisa Teesa did right is that she said no to him when he wanted to merge bank accounts. Like he was like, oh, we should get a joint bank account together. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I think she got it right. She made a lot of mistakes that she admits to, but she got it right at that point because she knew something was wrong. She was like, this is not right. I don't need my money tied to his. And I think that's where sometimes people can go a little astray. So I know couples where they're completely separate. I know couples where every dollar is merged together. So whatever is yours is mine and whatever is mine is yours. And I fall somewhere in the between. Actually, no, I kind of fall more to the let's keep things separate. And that's really because we don't have kids, so we don't have to share as many expenses. Like if I want to go shopping for clothes, there's no reason why my husband has to pay for that. Like that's what I want. If he wants to buy whatever he wants to buy, I don't really need to pay for that. Like our household stuff, fine. I'm totally fine with sharing expenses for household bills, household products. If we need a new TV, of course we're going to share that. If we need to put gas in the car, if we need to buy a new car, obviously we're going to share those things. But like other than that, I feel like you have to just be smart about how you're mixing everything. So in our household, what we do is I have my bank account, he has his bank account, we have a joint account where we put money in if we get a gift from someone. We have a shared credit card where we only use it for household things, for groceries, things like that. And then after that, my money's here, his money is there. This could change in the future. It can be fluid, but it just works for us. It's not gonna work for everyone. Trust and believe, it's not going to work for everyone, but it just works for us. And I think that's one of those things where if you are going into a relationship with someone, you have to understand, or you have to figure out what is going to work with you when it comes to merging your money. Your husband could say, well, of course we're going to merge our finances. And then you find out that he's a gambler. Or your wife could be like, of course we're going to merge our finances. And then you find out she's a compulsive shopper. So you have to think about, what am I really stepping into when I'm merging our monies? Like, how can we protect the money that we have together? And then how do we allow each of us to have money that we could just spend however we want? As long as we're saving, investing, and providing for the house, we both should have our own money that we can just do whatever we want without judgment. I don't ever want my husband to be like, why did you buy those shoes? And I don't want to come to him and be like, why did you buy those sneakers or whatever? We have to be able to have our own and then come together as well. I do have one bonus tip along the same lines, is that whatever you decide to do in terms of merging your finances, I think it's very important that both people in the relationship is aware and has some say in what happens financially. Oftentimes women, I don't know why, but oftentimes women get into situations where their husband, no matter how financially literate or illiterate he may be, thinks that they are the one that should control everything. So then they kind of just turn everything over to the man and they don't know what's going on. Like, what if the man dies tomorrow and you have no clue of how the bills get paid, what's coming in, what's going out, what's owed? You never want to be in that situation. You definitely want to have an open dialogue about what is happening with your money. So leave me some comments below. Let me know if you picked up any other financial gems or nuggets from watching the Reesa Teesa story. If you didn't, you can find it on TikTok. Actually, I know you can find it on YouTube. You can find summaries someplace because literally it is everywhere. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.